Michael Bradley as captain because he's unmotivated. You can't like Bruce Arena because he's even worse of a motivator than Michael Bradley is on the pitch. There's no life in this team. Where's the creativity? Where's this? I don't know. You watched the 2014 World Cup team and you thought you felt something with it. You're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna grind out results. We're going to absolutely fight to the last minute. Under Klinsmann at the 2014 World Cup, that was what it was like. Yeah, he had a falling out after that, and he got sacked. In comes Bruce Arena, the savior. Yeah, he leads us to the Gold Cup. We winning games. And in the span of 4 games, in the last 4 games of World Cup qualifier, Armand, let me put it to you. 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses.
It's
4
unacceptable.
points. 4 points from 12.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And especially when you say, I want to see these European hotshots come to CONCACAF and play. I don't care what your contact was. I don't care if you're saying, oh, it's the places you play are not garbage. They're hard. I mean, whatever. Bruce, you don't say these things when your team is on the edge. Your team isn't guaranteed a spot. I keep bringing this example because I was so shocked when I saw the standings. Switzerland lost 1 game and they're in the playoff.
27 points.
That? And I know this might sound like, oh, I'm biased. I'm not biased or anything.
I would be the biased one.
1 game.
Yeah.
And are in the playoff. United States couldn't win 4 games. And sure, they played lesser opponents. Sure. But the United States should be up there, at least in the top 3. Now, people might be saying, I want to bring this up. People might be saying, oh, it's MLS. It's MLS. Who wants to hear a really fun fact? You want to hear a fun fact, Steven?
I love fun facts. Give it to us.
All right. The 2 players who scored goals that knocked the United States out of World Cup
play in MLS.
were Roman Torres, from Panama, who plays for the Seattle Sounders, on 1 great goal. He shoved off that defender and smashed it. It was a great goal. And Albert Ellis from the Houston Dynamo. So why is it that MLS is helping CONCACAF, but not specifically United States? Every other team has gotten better. To be honest with you, every team has gotten better. It's an issue. It's something we got to ask. We got to ask ourselves. And you can tell that this team has regressed. I mean, overall, this team is just not looking sharp. They did not look good against Trinidad. They looked terrible. Omar Gonzalez should have maybe been, sent off. He had a challenge. That was a penalty. Plain and simple. There was only, before you, I'm gonna end it real quick. But before you, when you look at that team, I mean, honestly, I felt like only 2 or 3 players really have improved, and I'd say Pulisic and Yedlin are the only 2 that really come up to mind.
You know, Armand, I feel like I'm going to wake up from this nightmare and be like, okay, we're in the World Cup. Oh, wait, nope, we're not. I just can't believe, I just can't believe that we are sitting here on Tuesday night recapping that the United States is out of the World Cup. It's heartbreaking. It's disappointing, and it's just if you fill up with anger. But we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to talk about the phantom goal that knocked out the United States. We're actually going to talk about the tactics. Did Bruce Arena set the team up for failure tonight? And who is to blame more, the players or the manager? So we're going to take a quick break, recap our emotions, and we'll be right back. Yes, listeners, it is instant reaction. USA, Trinidad and Tobago, 2-1 for Trinidad. USA out of the World Cup How's it make you feel? Tweet us. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts before the game? Were you excited? Were you happy? You think we'd do it? What about now? Who's to blame? Players, manager, federation, the media? Let us know, because we're lost for words. I mean, this show is all over the map. That's okay. This is how we feel. Armand, let's actually talk about the game. We're going to get to Taylor Twellman and his rant. We're going to get to the Phantom goal here in a second, too. But about the game, God, was it just awful to watch. I feel like every player sucked.
It was terrible. I mean, there was no urgency. There was no desire, I felt like. And they looked very sluggish. Like, Steven, like, when I mean sluggish, I was watching it on my computer, and just the game looked slow. Was it to you? I felt like my thing was like on minus like 1/2 speed or something. The game looked slow.
I got a tweet, I got a message from my father going, I'm watching the second division Swiss side play right now. Yeah, you're completely right. It felt slow. I think it had to do with the pitch. I think the game with the water, it felt very wet. But yeah, I agree. The game was very, very slow in that played. Like, the urgency from the United States did not exist. It was as if they were at the top of the hex, had absolutely nothing to play for. They just wanted to get in and get out, and it didn't matter if they lost 10-0. That's what it felt like.
It did, Steven. It really did. I mean, to be honest with you, it just felt lethargic. I didn't see any urgency to get that goal until they were down 2-0, and they got the goal through Pulisic after halftime. I mean, it just looked lethargic. It looked slow. It looked bad. And as a U.S., I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching the game. I was just worried. And my stream was actually delayed. My stream was delayed, and my friend looked at me and then looked back. We were in the library at UT Dallas. And I'm like, oh, what happened? And he said, look at your screen. And I saw the Omar Gonzalez own goal. I was like, there's no way we're going to the World Cup after that.
No. Timmy Howard, old. He's just old. Time to get rid of him. Bye-bye. Awful tonight. DeAndre Yedlin probably was one of the better players tonight. I thought he was pacey, brought an element to the game that definitely changed the dynamic. Omar Gonzalez scored an own goal. Terrible game, and he felt terrible after the game. He goes, I don't have the exact... Oh, I have the quote here. He goes, it's one of the worst days of my career. Sorry.
Should be the worst day of his life.
Yeah. Sorry to the U.S. fans. Well, apology not accepted. Matt Beasler. Not as bad as Omar Gonzalez. That's all I have to say. Willafania, Armand, what do you think?
I thought he played decently, but I mean, no one stood out for me except Pulisic was creating opportunities. That's about it, man. And Dempsey.
Dempsey, but he's gone. He's not going to be there for his World Cup. His national team roster spot was there until the end of next year's World Cup. But now he's done. He's going to play a couple friendlies. But other than that, you clean the house. Josie Altidore, useless. Bobby Wood, couple turnovers. But once again, Christian Pulisic scored... I think he has like 5 goals and 4 assists. Excellent. An excellent player with a terrible team around him. Darlington Nagbe. I felt like he was just chasing defensively. And then when he went going forward, he wasn't necessarily doing the best. So it's just mediocre.
Yeah, it was.
And then there's Michael Bradley. Again, left alone tactically. With 4 at the back. Chasing the game, no leadership, no emphasis on urgency. I remember listening to the broadcast, Jones saying, yeah, the players on the field know the circumstance. They know the scores of Mexico, Panama. They know the scores of Honduras. What are the scores of the games again?
Honduras 1-3-2 and Panama 1-2-1.
There you go. I was sitting there going like, that's such a wrong thing to be thinking. The players should be out there to win the game, get the result. The U.S. had the destiny in their own hands. A 93% chance of qualifying. If I had told you, Armand, before the game, USA isn't qualifying, you would have laughed. You would have said $100 bet.
Yeah, I would have.
I would have done the same thing. I was like, there's no way. Make 100. Yeah, I'll make a simple $100. God.
Yeah.
So the players, awful. Tactically speaking, Bruce Arena set his team up for failure by playing 4 at the back and then this diamond-shaped midfield and with 2 at the front. It did not change from Friday night. And I thought,
mean, can you blame him? Or I mean, I'm just saying hypothetically, at the beginning of the game, can you blame him for sticking to something that worked? Because I can see tactically why he would choose that. I just think the players looked relatively sluggish, so they weren't able to, because they were fresh, the game against Panama. So it was a dominant performance. But half these players weren't fresh. They were really sluggish. I felt like that's why the formation looked like garbage. I know you and me are advocates for the 3-back line.
Yep. I think now we're going to get it with whoever is going to replace Bruce Arena. I honestly, the one thing I would have changed is that midfield. I think you should have maybe played one at the front. A 0-0 draw was enough.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree.
I don't understand why Bruce Arena was like, you know what, with the back line being so shaky. Which has been shaky all qualifying long.
Throughout, yeah.
Without John Brooks, without the consistent play, without good partnership between any two, why not sit there and be like, I think I'm going to go a little more defensively. We're going to grind the result out, and then hopefully Trinidad and Tobago realizes it's 0-0 in the 60th minute. Christian Pulisic probably works some magic like he did, scores a goal, and it'd be smooth sailing. I don't blame him for doing something that had worked, but Trinidad and Tobago either did their homework or I don't know, but there was something that was just off about this formation. I don't know I blame the players more than Bruce because the system worked in Orlando City against Panama. It worked. The players were motivated. The blame goes on to Michael Bradley, the captain. Mr. I don't pay attention to sheeps, or whatever he said. I don't remember.
You're still.
Oh, I'm gonna hold that over his head because he opened his mouth, and when you open your mouth, you're gonna get it shoved right back into it, or everything that comes out is gonna get shoved right back in your mouth.
No, I agree, Steven. Tactically, what I would have done is, to be honest, I mean the 2 goals they scored were fluky, but Trinidad still looked more, what's the word for it, I guess, more threatening. In my opinion, they were very threatening, even though they controlled less of the possession. In this instance, you need to set up in a way that allows you to be flexible. Your game plan literally switches by situation. A draw, you stay exactly how you are. Yeah, if you need a win, you need to switch. If you need to defend, you need to defend. In my opinion, if he had to run this might be me being naive. This might be me being naive and dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna say what I think. If he ran a 3-5-2 or a 3-back line formation, I feel like it would have been a lot more different because let's say the USA had scored, for example. You can tuck those fullbacks back and tuck those fullbacks a little bit more back. Then you could maybe sack. You could push the defensive mids a little bit more back, and you can suck up pressure and hit him on the counter. That's my thought process. Or if you need the goal, you can push those wing backs up. I mean, is it wrong to think that?
No, it's not wrong. I remember that you and I have been talking about this forever, about making this switch and just to try it out. The problem is, why would Bruce Arena try something out the last game when he knew?
No, that's very true. That's very true. But he did try out the 3-4-3 against Mexico in a crucial qualifier at Azteca.
where he had the cojones to try something in a big stage, knowing that full